I want to talk to you guys about Vistaprint or Vistaprint, depending on your part of the region that you live in. They make personalized calendars, and they're great. They're cool. A constant reminder of your business. Being in radio, I know how important it is to be heard and seen on the radio, on our websites or social media pages. And that's the same for small businesses. You could even pre-mark dates when your business is having a special offer. You give them to your customers or you give them to your employees. And every meeting that's important, you can shade it out on your calendar. No one will ever have an excuse for missing anything, and your customers will never not know when the important stuff or important sales are going down in your business. You can add coupons and reminders to order products by a certain date. Everybody needs a calendar, hell. Otherwise, you don't show up for anything. You're late. Go to Vistaprint.com and get yours. Make it work for you. Make your own. Put your business name and logo on calendars for your customers. Your face could be on every page, every month. You could be Mr. November. All calendars, including wall desk, poster, wallet, and folded, are 50% off, and you get free shipping on your entire order if you spend more than $30. That's a pretty cool deal, you guys. Go to www.vistaprint.com/morestories to get this incredible radio offer. Just go to www.vistaprint.com/morestories. Look, they've put their name on us. You put your name on them and on your own calendar. They're a big sponsor of this podcast. Reward them. Just go to it. I've done it. It's cool. Satisfaction guaranteed. If you're not happy, they will make it right. No risk. Vistaprint.com/morestories.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game change.
Donuts.
If you want a battle, it's either that you will or you won't.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
All right, this book is awesome, Sam Sheridan. I read it cover to cover. I read all your books. You can talk.
Thank you, Jay, for having me. Nice to be here. Nice to see Uncle Dan.
Hey,
heard a lot
nice
about
to be
Uncle
here.
Dan.
Uncle Dan.
I read the book too.
You read the
I
book?
read the book cover to cover, but I forgot the back, so I'll read this when I get home.
The back cover is just people kind of swinging from Sam Sheridan's nuts about how much they love
Word up.
Daniel Wilson, How to Survive a Robot Uprising, Extreme
That's going to
Fear.
be a huge movie. Spielberg's doing
Well,
Robopocalypse.
let's get Spielberg to do the Disaster Diaries. Warriors, I've never steered you wrong, have I?
Maybe.
Never. Sam Sheridan's book
Once
is
or twice.
It's rhetorical, Dan.
The Disaster. Attaboy. The Disaster Diaries is the name of this book. Go to Amazon right now. I'm telling you guys, this is exactly up your alley. If you liked Fighter's Heart, Fighter's Mind, this is actually better because it appeals to a much broader audience. How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Apocalypse by Sam Sheridan. The Disaster Diaries. Order it, and you can email me or tweet me at jmoore37. I'll let Sam know because he's a lousy tweeter.
I am. I'm getting better, though. I'm going to tweet more.
That's because you have a book coming out.
I got on Medium. You ever seen this
That
thing,
helps.
Medium? Where they're going to be tweeting and... I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm going to tweet more. An email. I have a website, and you can find me on Facebook, and I love talking to people about all this stuff, so you can come find me.
This book is, we know you know how to fight. You learned to fight. You learned all this stuff. You got inside fighters' minds. Now, this book is all different apocalypse situations that you have studied how to survive. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think what happened to me was what happens to a lot of people when they take on more responsibility. You know, I felt like I think everybody when they're young feels like, hey, I'll never die, nothing bad's ever gonna happen to me. You know, if the tsunami comes into LA, I can swim like a son of a gun. I'm not worried about it. But as soon as I had a kid, I had to become, really face to face with that realization, like you can't just, hope for the best. You kind of gotta be prepared. You have to do you actually got it? Do you have it? Do you understand it? And so,
look, this ain't CBS Morning News. Let's get to the nuts and bolts. You trapped and ate rats. What do rats taste like?
They taste good. They're gamey. They're
Really?
delicious. I was eating pack rats in Kansas, and I fried them up in bear fat, which may have helped a little bit.
Where did you find bear fat?
The guy I was with had bear fat.
Right?
Exactly. Bears have bear fat. Yeah, no, and it was more like a little beaver than a rat, and it was gamey and it was delicious.
What do you mean it's more like a little beaver than a rat?
Well, it's not like it's like you think
In
of
the book, it's mice at some point.
Yeah,
and you make these traps yourself. You go out. This is what the listeners and the readers will love. Sam Sheridan's a guy, and you know this from Fighter's Heart. He went to Thailand, and he went to Fairtech Gym, and he learned how to Muay Thai fight and took a pro fight. He got knocked down, he got up, and he knocked out a Yakuza. But now you wanted to know how to survive this stuff, so you're like, well, what happens? And you went to each region of the world. So we'll go Kansas. What if you're in the plains? You're going to have to make traps, right?
Well, the traps will work anywhere. So the guy I went to in Kansas, he is the instructor who teaches the instructors who teach the special forces. So special forces guys go through SARE school, that survive, evade, rescue, escape, whatever.
No, we don't. You really have to tell us.
Well,
we don't
SARE
know.
school is this like super
SERE stands for
SERE, survive, evade, resist, escape.
Okay.
Maybe something. I could be wrong, but they.
You wrote it.
No, I didn't
Still
go through
could
it.
be
I have a
wrong.
friend. One of my cousins went through it.
If you're gonna be that funny, you better fucking speak up.
All right.
Bears was the best joke all night, and you kind of
That's the
mumbled
best-
it
that's
under,
It's been a
It's
short
gonna
night
get-
so far.
under your
Just
Dennis
hang
Farina
loose,
mustache.
Huh? Well, anyway, this guy in Kansas, he instructs the instructors. So he's this, kind of crazy old guy who has written books about it. Basically going into the wilderness with nothing, no knife. He chips rocks to make, to break an edge, and he makes cordage and he makes clothing. And
What's cordage?
Cordage is rope, string.
Out of hemp, right?
It can make out of anything. We were making out of hemp, which is amazing. Hemp, by the way, is a miracle substance.
Uncle Dan thinks so, but not for the reason you would think.
And listen, that Kansas stuff, though, that's,
It's terrible. I
It's
know.
it's like
Swag.
drinking 3-2. You could drink a case of 3-2 beer and smoke 2 ounces of that Kansas stuff. You still wouldn't get high or drunk. So
Is that so?
No,
Yeah,
it's-
that's so.
It's more like like a weed.
yeah,
My
looks like pot,
My wife
though.
grew up in Kansas, and they used to, there was like no one would ever pay for weed, because it was free. It grows everywhere in Kansas.
But
it's not
Can we say
high
what your
quality.
wife directed?
Sure, you can. Talk
Your
about
wife directed the movie Monster. Charlize Theron won Best Actress for your wife's movie Monster. So Sam Sheridan's house, when you go over there, you feel a little insignificant having an AM Sports
Please.
Talk radio show.
it. Please.
And Sam's got 3 books that are like my favorite books, and his wife's like, "Oh yeah, Charlize Theron's Oscar. I did that." Uncle Dan, you used to be a seat filler for the Oscars, weren't you?
Yes,
oh no,
I
you
was.
did security
And
Both?
a seat filler.
Were you a
Both.
security
I was
seat
like,
filler?
I multitasked. I would do security and then go fill seats when someone left. Yeah, I did the security work for Oscars for
Cool.
like 6-7 years.
How do you get? Wait, were you really a seat filler?
Well, occasionally the security would be in there, and all of a sudden someone would leave, and the regular seat filler wasn't there, and we'd run over and fill a seat.
You gotta
it
do
was
it.
just like
Somebody's gotta be there.
Hey, someone's got to do it.
I didn't know there were
asses and
regular seat
seats.
fillers and
There
fill-in
are-
seat fillers. What about the seat filler that trains the seat fillers?
Well,
That's good. Really, yeah.
That's
Nice.
boy.
seat filler school.
Seat filler school?
Yeah,
That
Sayers, I think they call it
asses
Sayers.
and
SF.
Just asses and
Seats, asses,
What's
remove,
the acronym
and
for seat filler school?
evade.
How do you make a trap? So in the apocalypse, at the end of the world as we know it, if you live anywhere in the world, you're going to have to eat, and you're not going to be able to go to McDonald's and say, "I'll take the number 2." You're not going to be able to work your juicer because there won't be
Exactly.
electricity.
Some
No.
of those people might show up for work. They're not that bright. For a couple
For a couple
days.
of weeks until they realize
Maybe a
that nothing's
couple
going
weeks,
on.
who knows?
Like, wow, it's been slow this
The
year.
deep fat fryer's not going on.
One thing I made me really trip out on your book, The Disaster Diaries, Sam Sheridan, spelled exactly how you think, was currency. Huh?
SAM?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spelled how you think. It's currency is out the window,
Oh.
and currency becomes, I believe in this order, water, gasoline, batteries.
I mean,
That's like a $100 bill, $50 bill, $20
It's
bill.
right. It's going to be. I mean, listen. A lot of preppers get into barter systems. They're going to start bartering, and they have stuff to barter. I think the most ridiculous thing that they get into is like stashing gold. They cache gold in the walls, and they bury it. And it's like, are you going to eat the gold? I mean, if we're getting into it, and is gold really going to be worth anything? if governments crumble, no, it's going to
Yeah.
be food. It's
Yeah.
going to be, water, and then go from there. I mean,
Batteries for the flashlights
certainly
and for
batteries. I mean, stuff like toilet paper. You never
that
know.
Would be
you
it
know?
for me.
Why don't you just use your hemp?
I will.
Well, think about
bag that your
what's
hemp comes
valuable
in.
in
Go to
prison.
Kansas
You
to
know what I
wipe my
mean, or in
butt.
places where there's a lot of privation. It's weird things become valuable. Diapers. You know what I mean? Diapers could be huge.
It is an amazing book where it made me think, and that's all you can ask for if you're a reader. Like, some books are entertaining, but your book was entertaining, and it really made me go, holy shit, I got to fill my garage with water.
Well, I think that was the fun of it. I mean, I think there's two ways to
Only
look
you
at-
would think eating rats is the fun of it.
Oh, come on, that's fun. You would
How is
enjoy it. You'd enjoy it.
I'm not eating
it's
a rat.
delicious.
Yeah.
What's it taste like?
If you're hungry, it's game. It tastes like a little bit like it's like rich. It's like it's
If you say chicken, I'm going to kick you
No,
right in the nuts.
no, it's
Tastes like chicken.
like duck.
Why don't you just catch and eat chicken? No chickens in Kansas?
Well, you know what's so interesting was when I was in the Amazon, these guys they're like, we're gonna cook a chicken for you, and it was like a huge deal. Like, ooh, we're gonna, it was like the village has got like 6 chickens, and we're cooking a chicken for you. And you think about how many chickens you eat a day. How many chickens
Me
do you
personally.
eat a
10,
week?
15.
Like 10. I mean, honestly,
in
do I
between
eat-
there, yeah.
I probably eat 10 chickens. It's
Oh, no.
it's
Those are
insane
sparrows.
what we live with and what we'll get used to living without if it all goes sour on you.
It made me think immediately, because there's tsunami scenarios, there are giant 8.9, 9.0 earthquake scenarios, and I didn't know, I kind of knew, but not really, and you explained it really well in the book, that an earthquake, each time it goes up 1 click on the Richter scale, it's 10 times the click before.
Yeah.
So what's the ratio?
It's 10 times stronger. It doesn't.
So like a
I still don't
7 to an 8.
understand it.
It's kind of like carrots on a diamond, where you go like, why is this so expensive? I just went from 1 carat to 2
Right.
carats. And they're like, no, you don't understand. It's the difference between 0 and 1 doesn't really exist. The difference between 1 and 2
Right.
is like another level.
Yeah, no, I think it's a hard thing to intuitively get, but yeah, it's 10 times stronger, not.
So it's not like
A
it's
little
only
bit
an 8.
stronger.
The other one was a 7. It's like, no, 7 to 8 is
It's
like
huge.
ridiculously crazy.
And that's
you
why the 9s are like, you don't even know what it's hard to imagine what those 9s are like. I know a guy who lived through a 9 in Alaska.
Yeah, that was a hit. That was.
Were you there for that,
No,
or-
but that lasted like 10 minutes or
Yeah.
something. It was amazing.
No, and the ground turns to water. You
Yeah.
can't even stand up, and it's
Wait,
you're-
how does
Even
Uncle
the
Dan-
rats take off. And you couldn't even eat
Even the
rats.
rats
and
that you eat take off.
They're gone.
the rats that you've skinned
The rats
and
you
have
try to-
hanging
before you
waiting.
can trap 'em.
How do you know, Uncle Dan? How do you know about a 9 earthquake in Alaska? How are you so schooled in this?
I read an article where these people, when the earthquake was going on, they sat on their like front porch on a like a couch while the earthquake was going on, and the couch walked like 50 yards down the street. They just kept bouncing down the street.
Really?
And it went on for like it was like an 8-minute.
Yeah, the friend I
earthquake.
talked to, he said he was holding on to the ground as hard as he could to keep from getting flown around, and he was a kid and his house broke apart, and he could see his mom, inside. It was like it was like a toy house and the
Yeah.
whole thing,
Is it like I always picture when I was a kid? I always pictured like giant earthquakes because of the show Land of the Lost. The earth opens up and swallows you. Is that possible with a
I
9?
guess. I mean, I don't know.
On the Golden Gate Bridge, we know now that it is.
well, the big
Bay
ones
Bridge,
are
excuse me.
the subduction.
Huh? If it thinks you're a rat, it'll swallow you up. If it thinks Sam Sheridan. How many rats did you eat?
I
in
ate
one
2
sitting?
rats.
At one time.
I mean,
No,
but-
in different times. And
You really
but
liked
this
them the
shit
first
happened. I was finished with the rat, and the guy I was with, he goes, who trains the special forces guys?
Instructor.
He goes, that's the first time no one's ever offered me any rat.
Oh yeah, you had that in the book, didn't
Which
you?
was I was like, oh, did you want some? I was like, all right, sorry, but
He's like, no, I'll just chew on this.
I'm a
hemp.
fat kid. I got to eat. Fat kids. It was good, dude. It was delicious.
Was it delicious for real, or was it delicious
was
because it was your
delicious.
fourth day trying to catch a rat? Because in the book, you said you almost went mad. You're going out there day after day after day,
Yeah, and
checking
that's
these
nothing.
rickety ass traps.
What
Yeah.
kind of a trap was it? I couldn't get that from the book.
They're
What
tough
is it?
to. It's very hard. I could show you, and you would understand. And
When do you guys go out in the yard and
it's the
come
kind
back?
of thing
Me and
where
Maddie
it'd
Boy
be
will hold it
almost
down.
impossible to describe
Like
it.
a
or-
rock falls down on its head,
Basically,
right?
it's a stick, and
I
the
know
thing
what
leans
that
on
was.
it, and then you have this other little tiny stick that holds the rock up.
Yeah.
In
Oh,
here,
I
and
get
then
it.
there's some bait, and so he goes in there and busies that bait, and the whole thing drops on him.
I thought a piano came out of a third-story
Yes.
window when he went to pick up a quarter.
That's what I have in my survival kit is pianos.
Now, also in the book Disaster Diaries, you talk very honestly about the importance to have a go kit.
Yeah, well, the
kit?
go bag.
A
I mean,
go
this
bag.
This is the survival staple. Every survivalist's website or whatever, they have a bug out bag or a go bag.